When setting up a Totara site to suit your organisation, there are a few key things site administrators can do that will immediately make users feel at home. In this video, you'll have a look at how to do that. I'll start by opening the Quick Access menu and select Localization, then Location Settings. Here I can define the default time zone and decide whether to allow users to choose their own time zone or whether to force everyone to use the same time zone. If you plan to use CSV imports on your site, such as in HR Import, another important setting determines how the CSV import date is formatted. This will save time later, and you can align the date format in Totara with how your organisation typically writes dates. I can also define the default country, which can save time when adding new users, and choose the default city if the majority of my users are located in the same place. Once you've finished adjusting those settings, don't forget to save changes to implement them. Another important way to localise your site is to set up the calendar block, which allows users to add events such as classroom training, webinars and virtual workshops. Activities with date settings including quizzes and seminars will automatically be added to the calendar as course events, so it's important that the calendar is set up to match users' working weeks and organisational structure. As a site administrator, you can configure the calendar by opening the Quick Access menu, selecting Appearance and then Calendar. Decide whether the site will use a 12 or 24-hour time display. You can also define when the calendar week starts, and choose which days are considered to be weekend days. The calendar also dictates what will appear in the upcoming events block. And in the settings, I can define how long the calendar will look ahead for upcoming events, and how many events should be shown by default. If users are working with an external calendar application, then they can export any calendar entries from Totara, and site administrators can decide the time period for the data to be exported. When you're happy with how you've set up the default settings, don't forget to select Save Changes. Users can view the calendar in more detail by selecting the month. Users can also configure how their own calendar looks from their user profile. In this video, we've looked at how to define the default time zone and country for the site, set up the default date format, and manage the calendar settings.